So, not avoiding you all, but it's not been a lot of fun this last week. One of our cats has gone missing, and it's a cat that we brought with us from the UK, our oldest cat, if you like. And yeah, we've put some posters up and stuff. Rosie cat. If you see a Bengal in our village, if you're watching from our village, we dearly love her back. The wife's been in bits. You know, it's pretty upset for me as well. She came to us when the wife's previous cat died, so she's very, very attached to this cat. And yeah, she's been missing now a week. So anyhow, let's crack on. So today, I'm going to show you the shops in our village, all of them, I hope. There's a lot of walking. I'm going to show you the shops, chat about why Russians and the collective West don't understand each other, even when they're talking the same language. But I thought I'd start from here, just because it's still current. There are still people banging on about fuel in Russia and there isn't any. Well, it seemed like a good opportunity to say, well, actually, see that big thing over there? That's the tanker delivery for the fuel, for the petrol. And there's the price board. I can keep it still long enough to... Ugh. Yeah, a bit shaky, I'm afraid. Yeah, just to show you, prices haven't gone up, haven't run out of fuel, despite all the nonsense that you're hearing. Yeah, pretty simple really, but like I say, I thought I'd show you that because yeah, it's pretty near to us. Never seen any shortages, never seen any massive queues. It's just daily life really. But anyway, if you haven't subscribed to the Russian embassy in London, I think that's what it's called on YouTube, then you should. Because it's usually interviews with Andrei Kelin, the Russian ambassador to the UK. And he's very articulate, speaks very good English, albeit with a Russian pronunciation. But very informative, and it tells a lot. And I was watching today Mr. Kellin being interviewed by somebody called what was his name? I wrote it down because I want to call him Enda Brady, ENDA. I think he's an Irish journalist. I've never heard of him, but it just, watching that interview, it really became apparent to me. It's not news to me, but it just became very apparent to me that despite both of them speaking English, there's a distinct disconnect between the understanding. Now, first off, let me start by saying journalists and diplomats, in days gone by, you would look at a diplomat as the adult in the room, the intelligent thinker, and a journo, just a news hound, just digging up dirt, running around, scurrying around in the gutter like they do. I've got no opinion of mainstream media journalists, not independents, they're a completely different ballgame. But mainstream media journalists, yeah. Yeah, boys. Yeah, so that used to be the default setting. If you wanted some intelligence, it would be the diplomat that provided it, and the journo would provide the gutter press. Well, that's still the case in Russia. The journalists, report the news. They're there to report whatever they've been told by either their editors or some conspiracy theorists may say the government. Whatever your viewpoint is, that's what they do. They're not in boats off the shore trying to get a gotcha shot of somebody posing nude. Do you remember? Who was it that was half naked on the beach, and I think the Sun used a super long telephoto lens to get some pictures of one of the princesses, I think. Yeah, they don't do that kind of stuff. That's Western media gutter press. So that's still the case in Russia. You know, the diplomats are the intelligent ones, and the journalists are quite articulate, and you know what journalists should be, focusing on reporting the news. In the West, it's flipped round. The diplomats and the journalists, the proper journalists, as I would say in this case, are the more articulate and seem to be the more clever. Bear with me. This Ender Brady, you can tell by watching the interview that he's looking for his gotcha moment. And by that, he's talking about various things, but the one word he keeps using is ceasefire. And he's very cleverly, or not as the case may be, asking the same question in a different way. The Russians don't do that. And this is where the disconnect comes between the two nations. Russians will be direct. They'll give you, if you ask them a question, they'll give you the answer. There's no smoke and mirrors. They don't do a Macron. They don't flip-flop. They don't, strategic ambiguity. There's none of that. They just give you the answer. You ask a question, and that's very much the case with Lavrov, with Putin. Lavrov might inject some humour into it, and Putin at times, but ultimately they'll give you an answer to the question. What they don't do, or especially their journalist base, is ask the same question 10 times over in a different way each time. And the reason they don't is because the journalists understand what the answer is. And this is the problem with the West. We've lost, in the West, people that understand Russia, that can actually make sense of what's being said. Now, that's not to say that what the Russians are saying doesn't make sense. It's clear as a bell. But in the West, we're not used to just asking a question, getting an answer, accepting the answer and moving on, especially with journalists. They're looking for, as I said, their gotcha moment. So that means that they've got an agenda, in this case the word ceasefire, and they're going to ask about it multiple times, hoping that they can get some kind of soundbite out of the responses. Because when they ask that question in different ways each time, what they get is a different answer. Now, that's not the Russians being deliberately ambiguous. Is that the word? Probably. That's the Russians, typical Russians, giving the answer to the question they're asked. The fact that somebody has changed the question, in the Russians' mind, just means that they haven't understood the position. So they've rephrased the question, so consequently the Russian will rephrase the answer. Still be the same answer, just rephrased to fit the question. I hope you understand what I mean. And what really needs to happen is what we would do in the West. And this is why it happens, because in the West, if you ask somebody a question and you then rephrase it and ask it again, in quick succession, somebody will say, look, I've given you the answer. The fact you haven't understood it isn't my problem. The fact that you don't want to hear that answer isn't my problem. That's the answer, let's move on. And the Russians don't do that. They just assume that the question they're being asked and the answer they've given hasn't been understood. It's been rephrased, so they need to answer it again. And what they really should be doing, and in this case, in my belief, with Andrei Kelin, rather than giving 10 different answers to the same gotcha question, he should just say, you know, when he's asked the question the second time, he should just turn around and say, look, as regards ceasefire, the Russian position is this. If you rephrase the question, it doesn't change the Russian position, doesn't change the answer. So let's not carry on talking about ceasefire, because I've given you the answer, that's our position. And that's what should happen. But instead what you get is this very convoluted back and forth, asking about the same thing, as I say, trying to get the gotcha moment so that he can run off to the newspapers, use the soundbite and say, ha, I asked this question and this was the answer. And again, being a journalist, he asks 10 questions about the same subject. He will then edit, not necessarily him, but it will be edited so that the question number 7 fits answer number 9 much better. And that's what happened. And this is why you get all of this mismatch. Now, going back to my point earlier about journalists and diplomats, diplomats speak to diplomats in a diplomatic way, and they understand each other to a degree. But journalists operate in a different realm, especially Western media. Let's face it, is there anybody watching this or listening to this that thinks that Western mainstream media are a wonderful institution and always report factually? I think if you answer yes to that, then you've either been under a rock or you need to give your head a wobble. So we all understand that it is gutter press. I mean, ultimately, it's been called gutter press for years, as long as I can remember. There's a reason for that. They're not to be trusted. They're like dodgy used car salesmen. Not to be trusted. So they'll always manipulate whatever they hear, whatever they say, whatever they're told. So that's I would say, the disconnect between, Russia and the collective West, and the understanding. Like I say, Russians just will give an answer to the question they're asked, but either the journalists won't necessarily understand the answer, which, is pretty straightforward, or it's not the answer that they want, so they'll rephrase the question. Oh, let me just have a look at some notes. Yeah, let's got rid of him. Right. Got various fascias and tiles and things for the outside of your house over there. It's very common to see these displays. And in a Napa, they're actually left out all night, those displays with the tiles on. I don't know if you can see them through the trees. There's several in there behind the fence. And they're just left out. And you know what'll happen in the UK, they'll just be nicked. Somebody will go, oh, I can put a step out of that. So they'll be taking them. But no, just left out. Strojdom. And office products. And then we've got a local little corner shop, I suppose you'd call it. Bits of this and bits of that. Lots of different bits of food, drink. Just a local shop to pop in and grab some milk on a hurry, or some bread, or the particular spice that you missed for your dinner. Forgot about. Nice and grand, isn't it? I do like that. It's nice. Right, moving on. Tomahawk. Who knew that the Red Indians of yesteryear the Apaches and the Comanches and the Arapaho, was it? And all of that lot. And their war weapon. Who knew that that would be so popular nowadays? Yeah. Yeah, it's the buzzword, isn't it? Oh my God. Here's my take on it. Going to supply them to Ukraine. So, if they do, if the US supplies them, the US has to fire them. It's a technical thing. And, you know, maybe they'll put an American in a Ukrainian uniform and take a picture of him and say, oh, it's the Ukrainians that are firing it. Who knows? But we all know the reality. It's the US going to be firing them. Firstly, they're not going to be supplied in sufficient numbers if they've got a conventional warhead to make any difference whatsoever. Just like the ATACMS haven't, just like the HIMARS haven't, blah, blah, blah. Not going to be supplied in any significant numbers to make any difference. Let me flip you around a minute. If they are supplied on the delusional understanding from the West that this is another little escalation and the Russians will do nothing. Because, and this will make me look strong and powerful, Mr. Orange Man, and the Russians will do nothing. But, as the Russians have pointed out, that particular armament can be conventional or nuclear. And there's no way of telling when it's in fire. So, effectively, the West is relying on Russian restraint not to go nuclear, effectively. That's what they're relying on. They're relying on the fact that the Russians will know that any Tomahawk launched from Ukraine at Russia won't be nuclear, because they wouldn't do that. Well, how does Russia know that? Look at every single step that's been taken. Everything has been, you know, we won't go beyond this red line. Now we will. We won't supply this missile. Now we will. We won't supply this tank. Now we will. So everything that the West has said that they won't do, they've done. So picture this. Tomahawks are sent to Ukraine. Half a dozen of them are fired at Moscow. The West is relying on the fact, or their belief rather, that Russia will know that they're not nuclear and they're just going to be a bit destructive, and yeah, that's it. Whereas the Russians have pointed out they're not going to know. So what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to exercise extreme restraint like they normally do and hope that they're not nuclear? Or are they going to respond with 5,500 nuclear missiles? I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, hopefully, and that they don't respond with any nuclear missiles, and hopefully, and this is all hopefully, and hopefully the West doesn't put a nuclear missile in, or a nuclear warhead in a Tomahawk, so we don't have that problem, hopefully. Hopefully. I don't know, wedding. Noisy. First of many coffee shops. It's quite nice in there. We actually went in there yesterday. Had a bit of cake and a nice coffee. I fancy a coffee now. I'm looking at the coffee shop. Always the way. So over there we've got a little repair shop and a little tool shop. Loads of those in Russia. If you've got a tool, you can get it repaired, and if you haven't got a tool, you can buy it there. Unless you are a tool. And that, what's that? This is furniture, isn't it? Yeah. And we've got furniture shop, hairdressers, the obligatory Ozon, Wildberries. What's that? Oh, that's doors. Yeah, that's where we got our doors from. So this is doors and fittings, internal stuff. Custom staircases. Looks like ours. Yeah. Tiny shop, loads of choice in there, but that's our biggest problem when we were building our house, was choice. Another little corner shop kind of thing. Barbecue, bricks, charcoal, food, drink, blah, blah, blah. Where was I? I digressed. Oh yeah, Tommy the Hawk. So the West is relying on Russian restraint once again, assuming that it's all going to be, yeah, let's go this way. Get off the main road where it's a bit noisy. What's this place? Arts and crafts and fitness, and for teenagers, little clubs and various things that they can do. Building. All the medals and trophies up. Yeah. So it seems like a crazy situation. But the other factor that kind of mitigates it somewhat is the fact that that particular ordnance is quite old now, probably 50 years. And whenever we hear cruise missile, I expect you're like I used to be, where you just assume it's a nuclear missile because that's what we were told when we were growing up. Cruise missile was the new nuclear deterrent, so you just associate it as being a nuclear missile. The reality is, today's battlefield, it's a big old turkey. I don't know if you've seen the video on YouTube with a couple of fishermen out at sea where 2 cruise missiles fly over them. And, you know, it's one of those right place, right time, once in a lifetime kind of videos. And you get to see 2 cruise missiles in flight. And I suppose the initial reaction is kindergarten. That's not the reaction. The initial reaction is, oh, look at those. But the reality is, as I say, they're big old turkeys. So, current air defence probably will shoot down most, if not all of them. So that's kind of why the Russians aren't running around like headless chickens. Not that they do anyway, but you know, they're not in full panic mode going, oh my god, what are we going to do, what should we do? And that's why they're just sitting and waiting. One, because, you know, Trump says a lot and does little, and as I always say, it doesn't matter what he says, it's what he does that matters. So one, they're used to that, you know, him talking out of both sides of his face, both sides of his mouth, both sides of his arse. And 2, until they have a better understanding of what's going to go on, how can you plan an appropriate response? People keep trying to push the Russians, especially in interviews. What's your response going to be? What are you going to do? What happens when? Okay, well, when that happens, we'll give you our response. Yeah, but what if? Well, Russians don't work on what if. It goes back to my earlier point about getting a direct answer to a question. I'll just tell you how it is. They don't flower it up and piss about, which is very refreshing, I've got to say. One of the things I like. Straightforwardness, sincerity, no convoluted bullshit, not telling you one thing when they mean another. Now, that's not to say that you don't get rhetoric. Of course you do. Dmitry Medvedev is an absolute, well, he wrote a book on it, didn't he? He's very, very good at making very cutting and harsh statements. But what I mean is, they don't just barefaced lie. It's not a thing. It just doesn't happen. And I've been on the receiving end of that kind of person many times in my professional career. And it's, if you're used to working with genuine people and you consider yourself to be genuine, when you get that kind of individual that will sit across a table or a boardroom from you and barefaced lie to you and the other members of the board, and you categorically know that it's lying, it's really quite a thing. It kind of shocks you that somebody is that brazen. But it's very common in the West, and they will. And they'll do it without conscience. Whether they've got an agenda and they just want to lie about it, or whether they're just horrible people. But the result is the same. They will just barefaced lie. And not everyone, but most of them. Anyhow, that's where we are with the Red Indian war weapon. But, as I say, the West is relying on Russian restraint to keep everyone safe, which is, it's a bit like overtaking a car on the brow of a hill or round a bend. You know what you can do, you know what your car can do, you know the car you're overtaking is doing 30 miles an hour and you can easily get past it and you can probably nip round the bend. But you're assuming that the person coming the other way is either not coming the other way at all, that the road's empty, or that they're doing the speed limit. So you've got plenty of time. But what if it's another you and they're not doing a 40 mile an hour speed limit, they're doing 70, tearing around the corner? Well, that's when it all goes wrong, isn't it? When you start making overtaking manoeuvres on the road and you're relying on luck, that's when it gets scary. And that's the position that the West is putting itself in, and all of us, the world, with these flying hatchets, these big old turkeys. That's the position they're putting us in. They're relying on the Russians going, that's all right. Why? Well, because they have. And unfortunately, that's been interpreted as weakness. That's what the West has interpreted that as. Russia's restraint. It's not restraint, it's weak. They can't do anything. Not that they're choosing not to, they just can't. That's wrong. And as I've said many times, I think the West should be very grateful that they've got a moderate president in Vladimir Putin, who's allowed these red lines to be crossed purely on the basis of how they're being crossed and what red line allegedly is being crossed. Don't forget, most red lines are put in place by the West and sold to everybody as Russian truths. Tanks were a red line for the Russians. No, they weren't. These missiles were a red line for the Russians. No, they weren't. F-16s were a red line for Russians. No, they weren't. But that's the story you're told. But yeah, there we are. That's what we're reliant on. Overtaking on the brow of a hill and assuming nothing's coming. Genius plan. As I said, diplomats in the West seem to have got dumber, and the journalists seem to have got more intelligent. Anyhow, this is kind of what you'd call a high street. I've walked past some shops there.
It was roofs, then windows.
Roofs, windows,
beer shop.
Beer. I like that. Fruit and veg.
And then was agency for selling houses.
Yeah.
And
another Ozon, which is new.
Yeah, and one more shop with meat.
Yeah, another meat shop. Okay. We've got a Wildberries. That's new. And just behind it, what's left of our doctor's surgery, and we'll get to that in a minute. And the obligatory Pietoryczka. I don't know, how was that? Pietoryczka. Da. 5. And that's just, I suppose the Americans among us might call it a 7-Eleven. I don't really know what 7-Eleven is, other than a shop that sells all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that's what that is. They're everywhere in Russia. I think like 20,000 of the things. It's just like your Tesco's or your Sainsbury's mini shops, really. Same sort of thing. Wherever you go in a Pietoryczka. They're all selling the same product. A couple of regional variations, but ultimately the same thing. So that's our doctor's GP surgery. And as you can see, it's in a pretty poor state. Doesn't look terribly appealing, does it? Well, there's a reason for that. It's being knocked down, demolished, because it's yet another thing that is being rebuilt. And not because it's had a drone strike before some muppet says that, but because it's old and budgets allow. the Russian economy allows for things like that. So it is being refurbished, just like the school has been. So the doctor's surgery is now behind that while they refurbish the main building. There we go. Apteka. April Apteka. Chemist, to you and me. Or pharmacy, if you're the posh end of London. Magnet, which is another chain, much like Pietrzycka, but called Magnet. Slightly, some might say slightly posher, slightly different products, but ultimately same sort of thing. And then we've got another Apteka here, because they do like a chemist here in Russia. And there's three. There's another one over on that corner there, look. 3 within 50 metres. And then we've got a butcher's. And form. School uniform. Ozone, of course, or Azon. Domostroy, so that's agent, developer. And then coffee shop. Another coffee shop. And then...
We need to visit this coffee shop.
Which one? This one?
Another time.
Yeah, we need to visit another coffee shop. Sounds like a plan. I like that idea. Then here we've got garden stuff. Plant stuff. I don't know, green stuff, you know. Sticks to hold them up and hose pipes and seeds if you want to plant a watermelon or... Yeah, or choppy things to chop them down afterwards. You get the idea. What's that? Hairdressers.
Beauty house.
Beauty house.
Yeah, hairdresser.
Hairdressers and stuff. Yeah, kind of. So, we'll have a quick wander over here. Now, the end building. Konfetka, so that's confectionery basically, that's sweeties. It's a sweetie shop. And next to it is our favourite butcher's shop. Lovely, lovely people in there. Loads of different variety of meat, and it's just our favourite one. Just like going there. I like the guys in there, they're really polite. Not that I'm saying anybody out hasn't been, but you know what it's like, if you find something that you like, you kind of stick with it. I'm not suggesting it's the best one in the village, because I don't know, I haven't tried them all, but I really like this one, and if I haven't got any problem with it, why would I go somewhere else? But I've done a video from inside here. The guys are very kind and just let me wander about for a while, so check out the channel for local butcher's shop in a Russian village. Then next to it we've got stomatol, don't know, what's that?
Stomatolog, dentist.
Dentist, stomatolog, dentist. And then next to that is, don't know, what?
Yermolina is a brand. They produce their own stuff, like, and it's a lot of like cutlets, pancakes,
okay, so it's meat,
frozen stuff.
Yeah. Okay, and then we've got the Apteka. Like most Russians, the wife likes to give detail. And like most English people, sometimes I want it, sometimes I don't. It's very rude, isn't it? Piva shop. So, it's a beer shop. This is where you go and get all your different types of beers, craft beers on draft, and all your nibbles. Now, that's quite a big thing here in Russia, where you have certain nibbles to go with your beer whilst you're in your banya. We're going to scoot across, not on a pedestrian crossing, so we're going to jaywalk and get, hopefully not caught. Naughty, naughty. Get fined for that here. Rightly so, really, innit? Shouldn't go wandering about, causing an issue. But yeah, banya is traditionally a few beers and dried fish, smoked fish, little tiny weeny things, you know, and dried breads of different flavours, and yeah, just snacky nibbly stuff. So you see a lot of these shops where they've cater for that. So you can have your Banya night in one shop. Just go there, grab your beer, grab all your nibbles, job done. That's one of the local bakeries. It's very nice. And it's also a cafe. So you can buy your bakery products, take it home, or you can sit in there and eat it. And they also do other stuff, like little meals and things. Very nice. I suppose I should be responding to some questions, shouldn't I? I'm going to have to put my glasses on for that. So let's get up to the end of the road. Actually, let's not. Let's put my goggles on so I can see. Big old airport, isn't it? Look at that. Nice wall. Right. Goggles on. Oh dear. Let's hopefully not get too far behind with the chat. Natalia. Hi. Morning, Chris. I didn't see the beginning. Was that Luna? No, it's Rosie. It's Rosie, sweetheart. She's AWOL. Been a week now. Haffy. Hi. Said hi. Is that a shed? Is IR hot there? Is it hot in Russia? Yeah, well, I'm quite hot. It's about 16 degrees today, but it feels like more, to be honest. Have you seen great channel? No, I don't watch other YouTubers. One, I don't have the time. Two, I don't have the inclination, to be honest. I'm not a fan of... I like to educate myself with stuff. I like to watch channels that are reporting something, or you know, giving a perspective on current events or finance, or you know, sad and boring stuff. But I'm not a fan of just watching a nothing channel that's, you know, nothing TV, what I call nothing TV. That said, I probably watch Matt Armstrong just because it used to be my industry. Apart from that, I don't watch other YouTube channels. I don't like this edited together format to produce a video. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like doing videos, to be honest. I'd rather do this. Anyway, hi from Kinishma. Okay, no idea where that is. Diardarona. Good lord. Hello from America. I am Daniel. Hi, Daniel. South is better anyways, more warm. Yeah, that's why we're here. 300 days a year of sunshine. Let's turn you guys around. That's open. What is it? Oh, balloons and stuff. Party stuff, maybe. And then a little coffee housey kind of thing. Coffee and cake. Then we've got all sorts going on in there. We've got lots of shops within a big building. Lots of little boutique-y kind of shops. Furniture downstairs, and then we've got school supplies, you know, the kids' books and pens and all of that kind of stuff, and hairdresser I think is in there. There's all sorts of stuff, and then of course the obligatory Beartodichka. Pizza I think in the end, sushi pizza, and another coffee shop opposite our park. And then we've got a florist, big in Russia, lots of florists for various reasons. Then we've got the first of our automotive shops where you can go and get oil or a missing hubcap, or I don't know, furry dice, compressor, anything automotive really, parts for your car. We've got one of the churches, say one of, because there are, I think, a few. I don't really know much about religion or churches, but I know that there's more than one. I'm not going to hurry up just because you've bibbed your horn. So, this is what I would say the old church. That's the original church. And this is the new version. Featured this before, but it's moving along quite a bit. It's a big, big church. Look at that. It's going to be lovely when that's finished, all the windows in. Wonderful. Back out main road. Right. Niall Whitehead, a true Brexit geezer living up in the motherland. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Spud boys, no idea. Joseph, hello. Hello, Joseph Johnson. Good early morning from Florida, Roy. Hey, Mr. Flow Rider. Hope you're avoiding them alligators. Ooh. Joseph, £7 like a modern general store. 7QQ. Like a modern general store. Yeah, I suppose, yeah. We don't have a thing in the UK called a general store. Sure, that'll be seen as propaganda. Fuck 'em. Whoever thinks it's propaganda, crack on. 7-Elevens. The West would have us think that they have breadlines. Yeah, no. The West would have you think that we have petrol lines. The West would have you think that we have bank runs. The West would have you think that all the supermarket shelves are empty. The West will have you think a lot of things. None of it true. It's kind of living... Well, I don't know really. What's it? Is it like living the Truman Show? Where you think you're living in the real world, but you're not. You're just living in a made-up reality. Unfortunately, the made-up reality that we're all living in the West is pretty shit. I wish they'd done a better version, you know, one that was like friendly. Didn't want to invade countries and then have a go at somebody else and say that they're invading the country. Hang on, Kettle, Pot. Hello, Mr. Kettle. Mr. Pot's on the phone for you. Oh, so another magnet, and in here I discovered last week, didn't know, and this is very strange for me not to know. Is it in there? Oh, it's the next one. That's what I don't know. No, it's the next set of gates. I'm not going to go down there. This one does carport stuff, I think, and building and whatever. But the next one is the local bike club, motorbike club. Oh, I had no idea that we had one in the village. And I'm a biker, I love bikes. Cut me in half and it says 2 wheels and engine. So, yeah, finding out last week that we've got a bike club. And the guy I spoke to was lovely, ex-policeman. Very nice guy. Very accommodating, very friendly. Full of invites. Come along. I haven't got a bike, so it's kind of like going to a snooker club without a snooker cue, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got what they call tobacco, which is your vapes and coffee as well. And then another auto market for getting your bits for your car. And then we got fixed price, which is I don't know, like Poundland, I suppose. You know, think like really cheap, cheapy cheap. And again, all sorts of stuff, from ice cream to drinks to stationery to shoes for the garden, to plates, to food, yeah, you name it. Just by the sign, I'm already interested. It's a cafe. Another one. Haven't been in there. It's another one we need to try out, wife. Oh, she's in convo with a local. That's fatal, isn't it? 2 women bumping into each other. Game over, gents, game over. Save yourselves. Beeline, so that's our local mobile phone provider. Cafe says hi lucky. It's definitely one I've got to try. Never noticed it before. Shows you. And then in that door, we've got 2 or 3 different things. One of which I'm not going to mention. Megaphone, which is another telephone provider, and Stek. Stek is postal service. If you want to post something, you can literally take the item in there, buy the box, and they'll package it for you and send it. So you haven't got to faff about with a load of packaging. You just take your item in there and they'll box it up for you, sell you the box and post it. And equally, it's the same place to go to collect stuff. And there's, again, a few of those scattered around. So if somebody sends something from Moscow, then chances are I'll pick it up from there. Moscow as an example. Another auto zapchasty gas. Right, that's going to be something to do with car parts, I think. Yeah. Salon Crasot. Don't know what that one is. Need the wife to decipher that one for me. But we'll sit and wait for her to catch up. Right. It's a good excuse for me to sit down and read some more. Roy, what town is this? This is a small village called Gostogoyevskaya in southern Russia. About 50 miles from Crimea and just off the coast of the Black Sea. Hey, good to see you. We're in southern Russia, I think. We are indeed. Joseph, no idea. Always wary of questions like that because it kind of looks a bit loaded. So I'll ignore that for the moment. I'm sure you'll reveal yourself shortly. Yeah, I can't read Russian, mate. But this is just outside of Napa, if that's the question you're asking. Chrisman, morning. Nice to see you here. Need to make you a moderator. You can deal with the riff-raff. Cement electric poles. Yep. Yeah, concrete poles. We don't call them cement. So, Joseph, I'm guessing you're in the US. Yeah, concrete. Yeah. Don't know why it's relevant, but Natalia Rosie, I hope she returns. Yeah. I'm a realist, sweetheart. I kind of live in a real world, and you know, whilst some cats can go wandering, Rosie ain't one of them. She doesn't leave the garden 99% of the time, and when she does, it'll be to hop into our little house next door, so she doesn't go anywhere. So the fact that she's gone, she's either in somebody's house or outbuilding, or maybe dogs have got her, but there's been no signs, no sound, no nothing. Nobody's seen anything, heard anything. Yeah. Askaz Yet, cool, blimey. Tos not, I can't read that, I'm afraid, mate. Andre, yeah, more Russian, I can't read, I'm afraid. Whiz Flipper, no. Where is this located? This is located, as I've just said, in a small town called Gostogoyevskaya, a small village, southern Russia. Bill, nice to see you. Good afternoon, is it? No. Well, it is for you, I suppose, mate. Yeah. Good afternoon, Chris. Hope all is well there. Looks like a nice sunny day. It does, doesn't it? Look at that. Blue skies. Lovely. Lovely. It's nice out. I've got a hoodie on though, but I am hot. Village of Gostogoyevskaya, near Anapa, Krasnodarsky Krai. Krusman nailed that. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, don't know where the wife's gone. I'll catch up with her later. She's gone AWOL. Is the congregation building it? The church? No idea. Wouldn't have a clue, mate. Sledgehammer, how are you, boss? I'm good. Very good. We have Crocs here. Ah. What, the ones that you wear on your feet? They're not cool, mate. Although, standard safety equipment here in Russia. Crocs or flip-flops for the workmen. I ain't joking. Well, I don't know about here in Russia, but certainly here in the south. A lot of guys will turn up in flip-flops when they're working on a building site. As I always say, common sense and the Darwin theory. You surely Denunda, another name. No idea what that means, mate. How's the football? No idea. Can't stand football. Balls or engines, they say, and I'm engines. Did play a bit of squash in my youth. Where's where the wife went? Well, there's a world of possibilities as to where the wife went because there's shops. Chances are she's in one of them. Yeah. Kushman, wee man sham in Soviet Russia, bread waits in home for boys. Yes, yeah, that's more accurate actually. That is definitely more accurate. Yeah, fresh bread every day. Several places to buy it from. Same with everything else, really. Fresh produce every day. It is very strange, leaders who boss others around with borrowed money. Yeah, indeed. $37.5 trillion in debt. And the UK is, what, 3 trillion? Well, look at Russia's foreign debt. Give you a clue. It's not trillions. Guy just drove by with a water heater tied on his roof. Trust me, tip of the iceberg, mate. I have seen old larders driving down the road with half a house on them. Yeah. If it'll go on the roof, it will go on the roof. And if it don't go on the roof, it will still go on the roof. Although, bloody hell, there's a Neva there, look, with a trailer. Got a roof rack as well. Yeah. A nice Land Cruiser behind it. Do like a Land Cruiser over here. Hi, I just got here when you pointed out Beeline, my company now. Ah, cool, Jonathan. I'm in St. Petersburg. Oh, you've got the weather, the English weather. See it like this down south, mate. Head on south. Do what the birdies do, fly south for the winter. Joseph, you're in Chicago, blimey. Chicago. The famous town, home of the pizza. Brave lad, you must be dodging bullets, mate. Do you know what? You're living in more of a war zone than I am, despite the West telling everybody that I'm in a war zone. But I reckon if you're in Chicago, you're in more of a war zone than I am, mate. So, well done. Brave lad. I think Anton Samak. Okay. Today we are lucky to have nice weather in Pete. Hope it lasts the whole day. Yes, you are lucky. It's a bit of a lottery there, isn't it? I've never been. Desperately do want to go, and I will do at some point, obviously. I need to run out of things to do here first. Natalia, weather app calls for sunny and 7 degrees. Yeah, don't believe that. My weather app says it's about 14 degrees, I think. And it feels like, well, it feels like 18 or 19 now. I'm in the shade to keep cool. Golden autumn, I bet it's great in the parks today. Pushkin, Pavlovsky. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got the colours of the trees. I might actually go to Sukho at some point, because it's very pretty there in autumn. Leaves on the trees. Spare parts. And a beauty parlour. Krusman, you're a legend. Thank you. City of Broad Shoulders. Where are you? Not everyone has a propeller. Oh, that's the wife. She's lost. You know where I am. I'm at fixed price, darling. You wandered off. Don't know where you are. But I'm here. Look. My apartment is less than a kilometre. Hang on. I was about to say that my apartment is less than a kilometre from a nice little park, but then every apartment in Peterborough is less than a kilometre from a nice little park. Yeah, fair enough. Parks are a big thing in Russia. Certainly in the more rural Russia, they're memorial parks. So you've got kids' playground, you know, you've got the centre of the village, you usually got a stage or some kind of event square where various things are held throughout the year. But also memorial to the fallen. The Russians, yeah, they remember their dead, which is another reason why this current situation isn't just going to roll over into a ceasefire. You know, Russia isn't going to capitulate because they remember their dead and they know what they fight for, and they wouldn't dishonour them like that. Jonathan True, yes. Right. Well, I'm going to press on because, God no, the wife was implying that I was walking too fast, but that's not the truth. She stopped to talk. You all saw it on camera. It wasn't me wandering off. It was her yabbering, gum bashing. So, I'm off. This is a good thing about doing a live stream. She can see where I am. I think that's a good thing. It's like being data tagged, isn't it? Anyhow, onwards. We have the CCCP. No, it's SSSR. And that is, I think it's like a little pub. It's a place where you can go and have some beers. And then we've got a vet pharmacy. So we read that as vet and tecker. It's actually vet apteker. So yeah, that is a vet's pharmacy. So where you can go and get all your stuff that your animal's been prescribed after having its knackers chopped off, maybe. And then another apteker, as I said, chemists, loads of them. MTC, another mobile phone. And looks like fishing gear in there. Yes, it is. Fishing gear. Again, fishing is very popular here in Russia, so you can go in there and get all your fishing stuff. And then we've got pizzas and sushi there. And that's a kind of a delicatessen come multifunctional shop. So you can buy a bottle of champagne in there, or you can buy some cooked meat or some charcoal. And where am I? No, I'm getting confused. That's another butcher's. That's the delicatessen-y kind of place. Getting confused. So that's another butcher's in there. And then here, lovely cafe. It's very nice, this cafe. Very pretty inside. Been nicely done. And another Azon. Now you can see, obviously Russia is running out of petrol by the amount of cars that are on the road. I mean, literally there's none. There's nobody driving about because they haven't got any petrol to put in their cars, apparently. Yeah. Don't know what that is. Household stuff. Straw. So yeah, for the house, for the stuff for the house. And then this little doorway in there, you can go and get your photocopies and your printing. So we've just used it to print a load of flyers about our cat missing. Put them up on a post. But if you want your passport copied, or you want something emailed or faxed somewhere, or you want something printed, rather than having printers at home, which people do, you know, but why bother? Let's face it, how many people have bought a printer because they've needed it to print out 20 or 30 pages and never used it again, or they've gone to use it 6 months later and all the ink's dried? And then you go to buy the ink cartridges and you find out the ink cartridges are dearer than buying a new printer. That's the Western way. Whereas here, they just have a little business that does photocopies and print, like we used to have in the UK. They've done away with that. Couldn't sell you a new printer with shops like that open. So, yeah. So we don't have a printer at home, we just come here. Easy enough. Don't know what that is. Apteki Plus. So that's going to be something to do with doctor's surgery or chemist kind of stuff. Then we've got a magnet cosmetic down there. So I haven't been in that because it's got the word cosmetic on it, implying that it's stuff that ladies put on their faces. Me being a bloke, that's the limit of my knowledge. Facial prettiness. I don't know nothing about none of that stuff, and I have no intention of learning. Anyhow, it's one of them. And a local post office just down there, and just a little bit further is the market, and you've all seen that a few times. So here's kind of the centre crossroad of the village. We've got another little bread stall there, fresh bread, and another coffee shop. This is quite a new one, Coffee Like. Yes, I do. Got a couple of doggies sunning themselves. And then we've got an agro complex. So that's kind of agro complex. It's, from what I mean, the wife calls it like a farmer's market, but it's not. It's more like another convenience store. And then we've got, guess what? Another apteca, another pharmacy, another coffee house. And then next to it, upstairs, is clothes and shoes. If you want a wide choice, it's a pretty wide choice up there, and that's above the Pietoryczka. And there's lots of little shops shoehorned in places as well that fix stuff like computers or sell you a drill bit. And there's another convenience store. And then we've got beer and wine. Wine and beer. Another hardware store. Little store there where you can buy nuts, bolts, screws, washers. Now, let's pop down here. And do you see what I mean about the shops are very spread out? They're not, I mean, if I think about something like Hampden Park in East Sussex, which is, you know, a village just outside of my hometown, you've got a high street, and that's where all the shops are. They aren't really anywhere else. You might find the occasional one, but pretty much all the shops are in one place. Whereas here, what I've noticed is, even like the main centre will have the shops spread out, but then throughout the village, when on our wanderings, you'll come across just a random shop. It might be beer, or it might be a little greengrocer's, or a fruit shop, or little convenience store or a little repair shop or a little hardware shop, just random in the middle of nowhere. Well, not in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of some houses, but nowhere near the centre. And you kind of have to orientate yourself a fair bit in a village to find out where all these little places are. 70% of the stuff you can do, you know, in the centre of the village, but the longer you are in a Russian village, the more you'll see of these little places hidden away, and some of them are really useful. Oh, first doggy of the day. Right, let's have a look. If you come to St. Petersburg, visit the Summer Garden, stroll up past Mikhail's Palace and the Cathedral of the Saviour of the Spilled Blood, and enjoy Nevsky Prospect. Jonathan, thank you for that. Won't be any time soon because winter's coming, and St. Petersburg is challenging in the winter at times for somebody that's not that keen on snow. That's why we live here. I like this stuff. Sunshine and blue skies. Well, I reckon the wife has wandered off down to our friends. She's fine. Left me to it. I'm fending for myself. Look, Englishman walking around a Russian village. Look how dangerous it is. I'll probably get eaten by a dog now. Well, actually, I'm more likely to get eaten by a crocodile, to be fair. Russia, baby. Do love a carport. What size of that? That's 3 floors. Probably got a basement as well. Big house. Big house. And there's a white version of our house. I won't film inside their property, it's just rude. Oh, larder with a roof rack. Surprisingly, with nothing strapped to it. I've got a double carport here on this house. Blimey. And a pussycat. Meow. Found that on the floor. I'm going to find a use for that later. Meow. So another hardware shop here where you can buy tools, light fittings, bits of string, hose pipes, chainsaws, rotavators, paint brushes. Yeah, you get the idea. And then building supplies outside as well. Steel, wood, rubbish bins. And then this shop is well, I mean, it's very common in Russia to find a shop that just sells everything, and this is one of them. The only thing it doesn't sell is food. But TVs, kitchen appliances, strimmers, chainsaws, swimming pools, furniture upstairs, mangles. We do love a bit of barbecue down here. Ones with roofs on. But yeah, they sell all sorts of everything in there. Really great shop, that. Yeah, that one. Block paving, metal, all sorts of construction stuff. And then this one is into, oh, there you go, look, see? I told you, goes on the roof. No messing. In there, light fittings. And toilets. And wallpaper. And front doors. Yeah, you get the idea. I've just spotted something I want to look at. I want to look at that thing in there. flip around. Yeah, little housey thing for... Little housey thing. Benches and put a table up the middle and stick your mangle on. Mangal. Yeah. Better not show that too much. If the wife sees it, she'll be like, oh, we need one of those in the garden. Yeah. Right. Right. Oh. I'm sorry, what? I did read. I answered you. Oh, I haven't got a propeller. No. She's tracked me down using YouTube. See?
I
Yeah.
didn't have a YouTube.
Oh, well, not my fault. You ask a question and you should wait for the answer. Right. I did answer it, didn't I, guys? What was the response? I didn't go anywhere. You wandered off because you were chatting. I was about 20 yards away from where you were rabbiting. My fault. Anyhow. So, I think we should wander up to the drone factory.
Drone factory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, drones. Drone manufacturing plant. Some of you may have seen it. There's actually a drone manufacturing plant here. And if you look on my YouTube channel, I did actually get special permission to go and film in there. So go and have a look. Have a look at that. But that's where we're heading. Heading towards the drone manufacturing plant. Big bit of land there. And a pussycat. Russians love cats. And dogs. Lots of cats. Even on the front, the guys have got a lot of stray cats with them. Oh. So that's where we were a minute ago. And down this long road, we've got on the right the second school in our village that is going to get knocked down now. Now they've completed the first one. They've refurbished the first one. The second one's going to get knocked down on a brand new school built on its territory, which is going to be very big, from what I understand. And then down the end, we've got some new housing developments. And if you have a look at some of the other videos, you will have seen around there. But we're heading towards the drone manufacturing plant. And I suppose Ursula will be able to use the coordinates to pinpoint it then. I have to be a bit careful. Anyhow. Crazy Ursula. Ursula von der Crazy. Mad as a hatter, isn't she? Literally bonkers. And it seems to be, and no offence ladies, but it does seem to be the Western ladies that all have a disease of the brain. They've all turned rabid. Your Annalena Baerbock and your Kaya Crazy Callis and your Ursula von der Leyen. Von der Leyen. They've all gone a bit mental, haven't they? Do you think they're menopausal? Not trying to belittle them, but there's got to be a reason, isn't there? Oh yeah, I know what the reason is. Money. That's what the reason is. Corruption. Get people to do anything for money, can't you? Yes. Yes, the classic projectors. Whatever they say, I think most of the time they think they're talking to a mirror, because what they're saying is actually what they're doing, what they're implying that Russia is doing and what they should do against Russia really is, it's a mirror of what should be going on. So, I don't know, maybe they're blind. They just think they're in the bathrooms talking to their mirror. I'm going off on one, aren't I? Let's not do that. Anyway, less of the politics, more of the houses. Look, baby blue, how quaint that is. Lovely, isn't it? Nice new roof on it. Nice colour, nice order. Nice, just nice. Some grapevines. Very unusual, right? Find a grapevine here. Very unusual. Virtually never see it. Yeah, right. Interesting, isn't it? Makes a change from the usual square boxes that we have in the West. Bit of character. You might be wondering why Russians have carports and not garages. Well, they do have garages, but nowhere near as much. Some people have both. We plan to put a carport up at some point, but predominantly it's carports, just to keep the weather off. It's in the summer, it gets hot here, and you need a bit of shade for your car. So this road's earmarked for tarmacking soon. So it's had a concrete path put down the side of it and a load of Type 1 thrown down. So this will probably get micmacked at some point. Oh, sorry for my Irish viewers. It's just what I grew up calling tarmac. Tarmacadam. Right, let's try and catch up with you guys. Vet apteker. Yeah, it's vet chemists. No petrol. Yeah, exactly. You've replaced a lot of printers because it was cheaper than buying ink. Yeah, we've all done it. Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. It's just one big scam, isn't it? One giant scam. Shaving supplies and soap and deodorant also. Yeah, all of that. Anything, really. We can buy anything in a village. Anything we need. Coffee like, yeah. In Staraya Russa, there's a little cafe called Coffee Inside, but they are a sidewalk cafe, so it's a sidewalk, a pavement cafe. So it's coffee inside out. Yeah, but you've got to go inside to get the coffee. Winter is indeed coming. Yeah, sod that. Yeah. Kusman, I have a colour laser printer, which was free. Just a couple of capacitors to replace. Now there's a typical example of a Russian. They repair everything. Good on you, Kusman. World's best recyclers, I argue. What I've seen, anyway. Everything gets repaired here. Because if the rest of it is perfectly good and you've got one bit that's broken, in the Western way, we just throw the whole thing away and buy a new one. But out here they go, what's the point of throwing it all away? It's just that bit. So they repair it. So here we go, Kusman. He had a colour laser printer which was free and just had a couple of capacitors to replace. Original HP cartridges not available since 2022, but generic ones are just as good. There you go. There you go. Oh, the wife was running like a hedged chicken to catch me. Can you wait a minute? No, because I've only just read it. You daft. That's what happens when you wander off, see? You should know better. You shouldn't go wandering off.
I spoke with neighbour. She stopped me to ask about the rose, and while I spoke, you disappeared.
I disappeared all of 20 metres up the road. I was 20... Yeah, exactly. Well, you saw where I went.
No, I didn't.
You didn't see where I went? No, you're too focused on Oh,
Yeah, on Rosie.
on Chit Chat. Yeah. Anyhow, my fault. Of course. Nice tyres attached to the shop's front, like a pair of ships. Apparently got rammed by trucks a couple of times. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, just on the front of, yeah, where the tiles were. I think it's because people have nudged up to it and just cracked the tiles. So they've hung a couple of tyres there to give it a little bit of buffering. Right. Could go to the crossing and walk across the crossing. That's too easy though, isn't it? Should we go to the crossing and walk across the crossing? Let's do that. Let's be law-abiding citizens. Anyhow, dance studio. Where they do dancing. And other stuff. Weightlifting. It's a gym as well, I think. Stopping? Yes. Oh, F7. Mighty Haval. Good then. Dom Tancer? What's Tancer? Dancing. Ah. Yeah, that's what I knew. I didn't know the word. To do with dancing. Do you want to see me dance? That's it. That's all I got. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, very nice. I don't like filming into people's gardens. It's a bit rude, I think. Anyhow. That's restricted area, is it? Oh. Oh, whatever. The printers wear out fast. What time of day is it? So beautifully quiet. Apart from on the main road. It's 5 to 11 in the morning. Product. So that's a little knicky-knack shop for snacks and food and stuff. And that is Detskaya. Yeah. Kids stuff. Shoes and things for kids. Plumbing supplies. And anything to do with plumbing and water. Obligatory is on. And a water station. So if you want bottled water, don't know what you pay for your bottled water in the UK, but 19 litres is 133 rubles. And yeah, you just open this up and you can pay with your phone or a card or cash. And you just put your receptacle underneath and you get fresh filtered water, which I quite fancy at the moment. But yeah, they are very common all over the place. Interesting fence. Don't know if the red ribbons are to signify something or just to let people know that there's a fence there. Anyhow. So I'm about 5 minutes behind on the chat. Let me try and catch up. Yes, thank you, Natalia. I bought chainsaws from the junkyard. Okay. Yeah, why not? I mean, I think in the West you can do that. Here, I don't think anybody will throw a chainsaw away. What's the point? They just fix it. Big bit of land for sale there. A very old house. Nobody living in that. So, electric scooters everywhere. That one's run out of electricity. doggy and a larder. Very Russian. Eurostar. Hi, are you on holiday? Matthew, no, I'm not on holiday. Well, I am. No, let's be honest, I am on holiday. Every day is a holiday for me. I'm retired and I live here. But yeah, it feels like holiday. I suppose that's what retirement is. As long as you retire early enough to enjoy it. That's the problem we have in the West. Most of the time people can't afford to retire. The amount of retirees that were still working because they had to, not because they wanted to. Anyhow, another Azon and another hardware shop, I think. Crepeja. Oh, there's no on the edge. Okay, and Electrica. So that's what, electrical item repair and stuff? Yeah.
Some of them, like, I don't know. People
Okay. Yeah. Well, if he's going to go into detail then. Uh-oh. Another butcher's shop. Oh, as the dog runs out, he's not for butchering. Oh, the reason he's hanging around a butcher shop though, probably looking for a sausage. Anyhow, another butcher shop where you can get wood for your mangle and some charcoal. And here's the drone factory. I said we were going to go there. Here it is. DNS Geiper. So up there, if you look at the video that I did previously from the drone factory, that's where it was filmed, inside that drone factory. Some of you might be thinking I've gone a bit mad, but I'm just taking Ursula at her word. You know, that Russians are pulling chips out of washing machines and refrigerators and dishwashers. Well, that's where you buy them. That's where they are. So, when I need a chip for my missile, I go in here, I buy a washing machine and I take the chip out of it and then I can fire my missile. Yep, she's that crazy. Another fixed price. It's quite a new one, this one. Quite a big shop with all sorts of everything. Like I say, a bit like Poundland really, but not a pound. It's all different prices. It's weird why it's called fixed price, because no prices are fixed. The price is the price, whatever it is on the day. This is one of our favourite shops. We go in here for all sorts. Should we go in there? Let's go in there. Let's go and have a quick look round. Now, I've asked previously about filming in here and they said I can, so I'm gonna. But this is, let me spin you around for a minute. So this is another hardware store where you can come and get your metal stuff for reinforcing your concrete patio, or metal beams. So that's what you. And you can get sacks of cement and wood. Oh, you're not looking. You're looking. Yeah, look. Sacks of cement and wood and metal and water tanks and manhole covers and wheelbarrows and hose and hole diggers and gnomes and jars for storing your preserves. Anyhow, do you want to just ask if we can just quickly wander in? I know they're fine, but I always like to ask. My wife's just going to ask if we just wander in quick. People wreck their cars and the junkyard ends up with their tools. Yeah. Pretty overbuilt bridge for just a sidewalk. Yeah. Function over form here. Make it work. Natalia. Got some ram from the shop the other day. All done. Right, let's go in. I knew it'd be alright, but I always ask. It's polite, isn't it? I think you should just wander in and stick a camera in people's faces. Hopefully we'll still be streaming. But this is our local hardware store, or one of them, but this is the one we like. On this side we've got all sorts of electrical stuff. Lights and generators and heaters and all sorts of anything electrical, and a bit of plumbing supply as well. Strimmer cables, choppy things. Oh no, the wife's seen some choppy things. You just bought some, wife, you don't need it anymore. Just looking if you can find them in a different colour. So they do a lot of like skimming the walls here when they're decorating. So they use these big things. They're for tiles obviously, but they use these things for pugging the walls, like plastering. Lots of rollers, brushes. Lots of stuff that's hazardous to your thumbs and fingers. I know to my cost. Measures, saws. God, look at that. I don't know why I like that. It looks like something I need for some reason. Now, wheels for your gates. A couple of spanners. Saw blades. It's a hardware store. But you can also get a kettle or an iron. With some screws. Handles. All sorts of fixings. Lots of different kettles and pots. Portable stoves. Post boxes. You kind of get the idea. This is very Russian. This is what we used to have in the UK. We used to have shops like this, where you could come and get, 2 screws that you need, or, a door handle or something. Now it's just a supermarket, isn't it? Now it's just Wickes or B&Q, that's pretty much it. And that's all right if you want to go and buy this stuff, but if you want 2 particular screws or a particular nut, you'll have to buy a pack of 10, or they won't have them. Whereas here, if they ain't got it, you'll have it tomorrow. They'll get it in. But yeah, you get the idea. It's a hardware store. All sorts of drill bits. Welders. Very common. Everybody has a welder. Arc welder. 200 amp. Look at it, tiny little thing. Look, in relation to my hand, tiny. Great if you're going up a ladder, welding up on high. Electric chainsaw. There's an electric stirry thing. It's tools. Why am I spending so much time in here? I'm a bloke, that's why. And it's tools. We like tools, don't we, blokes? No idea why. Don't need them. But there's a strimmer there that's telescopic. Must have a use for that. I can't think what it is, but sledgehammers, pickaxe. Yeah, I must need one of them as well. Look at that drill. Oh, big SDS drill. I need one of those. I haven't got one. I need one. That's very true, darling. Wife made a very true statement there. I need everything. That's a good point, well made. But there we go, that gives you an idea. Hi. There we go. Inside the store. You can literally get everything here. There are lovely people in here. It's a lovely store. We come here when we need bits. One of the stores in a village. But much like the butchers, you tend to go where you have a good experience, you know, and they're always super helpful. You know, and they give you an example. I wanted a nylock. If the gentleman amongst us will know what I mean. It's a nut with some plastic inside it so it secures itself, self-binding. And I wanted a nylock, particular size, to do, I think, fitting some stairs in the movie room out in the garage. And they didn't have any. I was like, And the guy there just went out of his way to come up with all sorts of ideas, because I then went, well, maybe you got split washers or grip washers and a nut. Yes, they had, but they weren't quite the right size. And then just at the point where I was thinking, damn it, what am I going to do? He said, well, what about threadlock? And I hadn't thought of threadlock, which is just a liquid in a bottle. And then he came out with all different types of threadlock for me. And that was the problem solved. And that's what it's like. It's not, have you got this? No. It's, have you got this? No, but we've got something else. Or what about this? Or what about that? They'll go out of their way. They'll also, and this is unusual if you live in the West. This way, wife? Yeah? Or do you want to go that way? Tired? Yeah. They'll also in the West, it's unusual in the West, but what they'll also do here is tell you, you don't want to buy this here. If you go down the road to the other shop, it's a bit cheaper. I kid you not. I swear to God. You can go into shops to buy something, and the shop assistants will tell you, don't buy this particular product here. If you want to go down the road to that shop, it's a little bit cheaper. Why? Well, because they're just bloody helpful. That's why. What other reason is there? Do you get that in the West? Would you walk into a shop and say, I want something, and the shop owner say, don't buy it from me, mate, you want to go down the road, it's cheaper? Not going to happen, is it? Not a cat in hell's chance. It does here. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But that's the Russian mentality. Why, you know, they don't like to see people overpaying for something. You know, certainly my experience anyway. That's why I like village life. They tend to sort of look after everybody and, you know, no, you don't need to buy it here, it's cheaper down the road. I'm not saying they do that on every product or everything, but certain things, if they know that it's, you know, it's not desperate or whatever, they'll just give you a bit of advice on it. Crazy. It's not crazy, it's lovely. Bloody wonderful. It's good insight into Russian mentality. Good people, the Russians, despite what the Western media says. So yes, Natalia got some RAM. Oh yes, and they gave a lifetime guarantee. Yep. What time is it? It's Chico time. No, it's 11:10 in the morning, and it's chuffing hot. House for sale. Whew. It is hot. We've had a bit of rain lately, which is nice for the garden. Can't read your name because you're a cab. Let's get rid of you. It's my first troll. I've usually had a few by now. Yes, Chris, when you're right, 11 a.m. Well, yeah, well, 10 minutes behind now because it's 11:11 now. I'm reading this. Diane said hi. Lol, the shovels. Chris, the shovels. Oh yes, yes. Yeah, well, that's the logistics hub for the front line. You see, where the shovels were. I forgot about those. So yeah, that's where the shovels come in to the centre hub, and then from there they're transported to the front for the soldiers to use to throw at the enemy. According to Ursula, good girl, isn't she? Very clever, isn't she, Ursula? Very smart lady. Imagine how much all of those ladies would get done. Kaya Callis and... Oh, we've got a new one now, haven't we? We've got another... what should we call her? She's the Finnish woman who's just gone to... Has she gone to Ukraine? I think. No, she's in Georgia at the moment, isn't she? The Finnish woman. Stirring the pot in Georgia. Quite funny because she was doing a report, standing in front of the Tbilisi Parliament building, I think, saying that she's there to fight for freedom and democracy because the Georgian government stops freedom and democracy and stops protest, people having the right to protest. And as you can see, everybody is here gathering now. People are coming from everywhere to protest the fact that they don't have the right to protest. I kid you not. Go and watch it. It is... it is... Oh... I mean... Oh dear. Just let that rattle through your brain for a minute. The Finnish... I don't know, whatever she is. The Finnish muppet. She's gone to Georgia to support the revolution. No, she's gone there to stir up trouble with a few hundred people. To try and regime change as usual. But she's gone there to film the protesters protesting because they don't have the right to protest. I shit you not. I am not joking. It is otherworldly stupidity. It really is. Absolutely beyond belief. A bit of spot of concrete in. Big old Volvo, look. Oh, sanctions. Sanctions. Better not film a Volvo lorry. Sanctions. There's our local vet. That's where the pussycats and the doggies go, and the wabbits. Probably crocodiles. Anything's possible. It's Russia. FJ Cruiser. Weird looking things, those. Probably a great vehicle. It's made by Toyota. I'm sure it's wonderful, but a bit strange looking. Don't know what to make of it myself. Anyway. Cruise. Joseph, yes, the strimmer you make smaller to transport in your car. That might be a use for it. Yeah, or it might be for somebody that lives on the top floor of an apartment block. They can store it easier. See how long it is before somebody realises. I had some fun with a conservatory salesman once. I was walking in my hometown in the UK, and I'm sure you've all had it. Some salesmen can be quite persistent, can't they? Won't take no for an answer. They try and convince you that you need a conservatory. So I politely said, no thanks mate, not interested. He wouldn't let it go. So in the end I went, oh go on then, tell me about it. So he told me all about his wonderful conservatory and its solar reflective glass and how it would add value to my home. And are you a homeowner? Yes, I am. Oh, fantastic, blah, blah, blah. Let's take some details and, you know, what would you be? So anyhow, I wasted about 20 minutes of his time till he got to the point, right, we'll come round and do a survey. Can I have your address? I said, yeah, sure. Flat 21. Yeah. At that point, he looked at me and went, is it a ground floor flat? I went, no, 3rd floor. So when the penny dropped, I said, perhaps that was one of the questions you should have asked at the beginning when I told you I wasn't interested. Right, thanks. Off he went. I'm a bugger, and I do it with cold callers on the telephone as well. Used to get them all the time at my business. Hello, can I speak to the business owner, please? Yeah, sure. I'll just get him. What's it about? Knowing full well it's a canvasser trying to sell me something. It's about telecommunication systems. All right, I'll go and get him for you. So I'll put the phone down, pick it back up again, pretend to be somebody else. Usually Arthur. Hello? Hello, sir. Are you the business owner? Yep, that's me. That's right. Oh, can I take your name, please? Yep, it's Arthur. Arthur with an H. Okay, Arthur. Now, I wonder if you're interested in telecommunication systems. Interested in what, love? Telecommunications. I don't know what you mean. Well, effectively, Arthur, it's a telephone system for your business. So you haven't just got one telephone, you'll have multiple telephones, but all on the same line. Telephones? I ain't got any telephones. Pardon? I ain't got any telephones. You haven't got any telephones, Arthur? No. And you can hear the cogs whirring. You can hear them looking down their script. If the customer says this is your response. But nowhere in their response of 10 does it say, if you ring the customer up on the telephone and they tell you they haven't got any telephones, say this. It's great. It's one of many. Like I say, I'm rarely serious. Oh, doggy. Doggy number 2 for the day. Noisy doggy number 2. Anyhow. Nice rebar. Yeah, is that what you call it? Okay. In a small town they might. Okay. Natalia. My left toe is right. Hi Chris, good to see you and the village again. Looks like a great day. Yes, it's lovely. Lovely day. It's hot again. Maybe you could tell the vet about the cat, so if he finds something about Rosie, he will let you know. Yeah, done that one, Natalia. Way ahead of you there, sweetheart, I'm afraid. Jonathan, I subscribed. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. My wife left and I need to soon, so I will check back another time. Jonathan, thank you. Very nice. Please hit the thumbs up. Please hit the like button. It does help. Doing that has got the channel over 5,000 subscribers now, which is kind of remarkable. Little old me wandering about in southern Russia. But this is the real deal. This is not studio. This isn't edited footage, as you can see, and that's why I do it. This is warts and all kind of stuff. This is, rural Russia. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's why I do this. And that's why I don't edit. Turn the camera on, and you can make your own mind up, can't you? That's a sports model larder. It's no roof rack. Too much drag with a roof rack. But yeah, that's exactly why I do this. Because rather than have a load of propaganda or me ramming my opinion down your throat, just answer your questions and wander about with the camera. And you can figure it out for yourself. Is this what you're expecting from Russia? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Oh, lovely, look. Just very old but beautifully maintained. Nice. Right, gotta catch up. Maybe you could tell the vet. Yeah, done that, sorry. Yep, Jonathan subscribed. Have a great day. Is this America? Rumpel, no mate, this is Russia. Rumpelstiltskin. The video title literally says Russian village shops. Yeah, well yeah, Natalia, there it goes. People don't read titles, they just click on live and just see something and wonder what it is. Rumpelstiltskin, I'm scrolling, there's no title for me. Okay, well, it's on YouTube. And in 24 hours, it will be as a video because YouTube takes every live stream and turns it into a video within 24 hours. And I have to put a title on every live stream and a bit of the description, and it may not always be obvious as to where it is, so yeah, I'll get that, but it is there, mate. Natalia, Rumpelstiltskin, I see it's a village close to Napa. It is. Southern Russia. Thank you, you're welcome. You have a Chinese car, right? What was it called? I do have a Chinese car. It's a Haval, Haval, and it's a H9. So it's a Chinese Land Cruiser, I suppose. It's a 7-seat 4x4 off-road. But I'd have to say, I've got to say, it's a luxurious off-road. So it's not a Range Rover, but it's a hell of a lot better than a Shogun. And I've had both, so I can comment. It's much better than a Mitsubishi Shogun. It's more power, it's a lot more comfortable, it's a lot quieter. It's got a lot more toys. So yeah, if you're a fan of a Mitsubishi Shogun, upgrade to a Haval H9, because it is an upgrade. Yeah, it's a great car. I love it. Really do. Fantastic thing. Kit, why are you there? It's kind of cool, isn't it? Look at that. Well, why not? I've got to ask, why not? We've got the Vids in the background, up there, in the hills. Why am I here? Yeah, why not? I'm here because I came here in October 2021 and fell in love with this country and the people. And because I'm capable of critical thought. And because I've already been here, when the conflict started, I was able to use my brain to work out what the Western media and governments were telling me was a load of lies. Because I'd been here, I had that advantage of seeing it with my own eyes. And I've said all along that all of this Russophobia is just a pack of lies to manipulate the population. And I'll still say it now. It's exactly what it is, guys. Anything you know, if you've never been to Russia, I promise you, what you know about Russia is incorrect. Unless you've read it from a Russian textbook or something, and even then, maybe it's dubious, I don't know. But unless you've been here, you don't know Russia. And I'm not saying I do, but at least I'm here. At least I'm seeing it and living it, so I can speak with some knowledge about the subject, because I'm living it. But what I can tell you is everything I've seen in Western media is mainstream media, point that out. It's just a pack of lies. Same with the headlines. Tell me what headline over the last 3.5 years has been factually correct, or even anywhere near truthful. But there are a lot of people that believe what comes out of their telly box and take it as gospel. Which is a shame. But the dumbing down of the population began a long time ago. But anyhow, why am I here? Yeah, like I say, because I came here. And I love it. The people are amazing. I love the common sense mentality. I love the weather. I mean, look. Love the food. Love the culture. Love the attitude. I love the respect that people have. Yeah. I like the price of cars. I've said that many times. But that's about it. Thoughts on Putin going to Hungary to meet Trump again? toxic hazard. Nice to see you. Haven't gotten it yet. That's the first I've heard of it. I've been a bit sort of out of the loop a little bit the last few days because we've got a cat gone AWOL, so we've been out looking, and my brain hasn't really, my heart hasn't been in it, so to speak. So I'm a little bit out of the news. So I'm unaware of that. Putin going to Hungary to meet Trump. Is it another? Where did you find that info? If it's in Western media, I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt. It's what?
Proved now.
So it is happening, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
They speak yesterday by phone 2 hours.
Apparently Trump and Putin spoke on the phone yesterday for a couple of hours, and they are going to have another meeting in Hungary. That seems like a sensible idea, because Viktor Orban seems like a sensible kind of guy, to a degree. He's protecting his country, and he's obviously in NATO and the EU, so he's kind of got to toe the line to a degree. But yeah. What do I think about it? I don't know. Like I say, at the beginning of this live stream, I pointed out that even when Russians and the West speak the same language, they don't understand each other. And I think that's half the problem. And there isn't anybody in the West to actually say, well, the Russians said this and this is what they mean. And it's not convoluted or it's not sneaky. It's just that's what they've said because that's what they mean. Take it literally. Nice house, big house, big house. Filmed that before. Big house. Big house, isn't it? Big house, big territory. Yeah, I like the gate and I like the wall. It's a big house and a big territory. Nice. Bit of wood for winter. And a saw bench, look, chopping it up. Right, let's have a little Cheerio snapshot sniper. Where's my pizza at? No idea, mate. Are you in America? No. Gooseman. But it's funny. The problem is, to get to Hungary, you have to fly over NATO countries and not safe at all. Yeah, that's a good point, Natalia, that's a good point. Yeah, that's... Wonder how they'll deal with that.
Turkey, and then, I don't know what is in the way, Slovakia, something like that.
Don't know, Turkey, Slovakia, maybe? I don't know. Not sure, my geography's not great. Let's get up here. But I'm sure the Russian government have got a plan in place because they're not going to fly the Russian president over a NATO country. Not a active in NATO country, if you know what I mean. So there's got to be a plan. Mind you, according to the West, Putin is capable of teleportation, so he's just going to teleport there, isn't he? That's how he'd do it. Is this a Brit in Russia? Yes, this is, Hugo. This is a Brit in Russia. It's not the name of the channel, but I am a Brit and I am in Russia. Toxic, sorry to hear about your cat. Wishing you the best, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Not really a lot I can say. And unfortunately, whenever something goes wrong in life, I just resort to Mr. Spock setting logic. You know, I don't get emotional about it. I am emotional about it, but I don't think irrationally. I don't think emotionally. I just think logically. It's just the way my brain works. I've always done it. And it comes across, I suppose, at times as being cold and insensitive, maybe, but I'm not. You know, inside I'm, yeah. But she's been gone a week now, so my logical brain And especially with a cat that doesn't go out, doesn't wander, doesn't leave the garden, and then all of a sudden she disappears. It's like, well, if she could come back, she would. It's not like she's just sitting under a bush somewhere. In the shop? Yeah. Can you get a bottle of drink or something, darling? Okay. This is woman's logic. Look. She's walked round the barrier onto the road to go to the shop, when the path comes here to go to the shop. Yep, I don't know. Oh, it is hot. Hugo, thanks for the offer, mate, but no. Oh, God. There's a pipe going over here. That's messed up, is it now? Okay, mate. Time for Uncle Donny to visit Magadan, yeah. Oh, dear. Hugo, what a cabbage you've just revealed yourself to be. I feel sorry for you guys, people like you, that just regurgitate that kind of Western crap. I do. I genuinely do feel sorry for you that you're that easily manipulated and easy to control. Such a shame. As I say, the dumbing down of the population. Robert, bonjour, monsieur. Bonjour. Christmas. It would have been logical to organise a meeting in Vladivostok, actually, as Trump is going to visit South Korea and Japan next week. And keep him there forever. Yeah. Let's do what with him? What would you do with Trump if you kept him? Not a lot of use for anything, is he, really? Advert for Tango. Yeah. Hugo. Giving useful advice. Oh, mate. You're giving me useful advice, are you? I've got to be careful in case I fall out of a window. Oh, what a muppet. Natalia. Sergey, you are unfair to Magadan. Why should the locals suffer if Trump is bipolar? A few potholes here and there, mate. Yeah, on unmade roads, that's what you find. Yep, not potholes, just unmade roads, mate. The actual roads are in good order. Oh, food.
Sausage and with meat.
Fresh.
I thought they will have different, but they don't.
Oh, and water. Hang on, honey, I've only got one pair of hands. No matter how... Oh, hello. Right. So sorry. I love that aerial pipe. Are they gas lines or something? Yes, they are. But my gas bill last month was 85 pence. No, I don't know what you pay. I don't know where you are. But for 85 pence... Right, you go. Bye-bye. You a cabbage. What's for Dania? Yeah, for 85p for gas for the month. They can paint them pink with green spots for all I care. An advert for tea. Tango. What visa have you got to stay there so long? I've got temporary residency. So there's various different types of visas, and visas are different depending on what country. Americans, for example, can get a 3-year visa. Us in the UK, the maximum you can get is a 1-year visa if you've got a spouse that's Russian, or I think 3 months as a tourist visa or a shared values visa, which is now called. No, temporary residency is 3 years. Terry, I thought Russia was always winter. Yeah. Snow, bears, gangsters, vodka, horse and cart. That's Russia, isn't it? We all know that. It's not though, is it? It's quite nice. You're crossing there, are you? I'm not. I'm going to carry on here. Air conditioning. And a little car repair. And then furniture, I think, on the end. Oh. Cutthroat. Sounds like you need it, mate. До свидания. Russia is huge. The climate is very different. Various parts of the country. Yeah, absolutely. I think Russia has got every kind of climate. Sochi, you're looking at a subtropical climate. Where we are, it's more dry. And then, obviously, everybody's heard of Siberia. And everything in between. And, yeah, if you think Russia has 11 time zones, UK has one, kind of give you an idea of how big the country is, maybe. I don't know. Big place, mate. Winter, vodka and bears, and mafia, of course. Snow, bears, gangsters, vodka, horse and cart. According to the West. How did I get temporary residency? Have a look at my YouTube channel. And I've done a series of free videos explaining the process. I can't eat talk honey, but I do want to eat. Half of the year, winter is warm and green, the other half is cold and white. Yeah, I wasn't being funny, I genuinely thought that. Terry, you're not being funny, it's exactly what I said. That's why my catchphrase, I suppose, is snow, bears, gangsters, vodka, horse and cart. Because coming from the West, that was my perception of Russia. When I came here in October 2021, that's what I was expecting. And I found this. I found hills and I found vineyards. And I found a beach. I found dolphins. I found everything that I wasn't expecting. And that's why my world flipped upside down. Cousin, you forgot Balalyaka. Balalyaka? Long, I don't know. Sergei used to mine to fire up the nuclear reactor. Russia is the biggest country. It is, Terry. And you don't get an idea. You know, just saying that is easy. Oh, biggest country in the world. Very easy. Just flows off the tongue. But you'll never understand that until you come here. Yeah, somebody's built a car ramp. Look at that. You can get under the car and work on the exhaust. Clever that, isn't it? Russian ingenuity. Got a load of stones, just flatten them out a bit, drive the car up it. Then you can rake the stones out underneath. Yeah, until you come to this place, you will never comprehend how big it is. It is just immense. I mean, the UK, England, fits into my region. Most of you have heard me say that. But that's how big it is. It is a big country. And this, the last 2 hours, has been about a quarter of our village. And a local little beer shop there as well. G-Wagon, look. Keeping it real, bruv. And another ozone over there. Ozone. Keep calling it ozone. It's not ozone, it's ozone. Ozone. Pet food in bulk. Dogs and cats. Cats and dogs, and boots and cats and boots and cats. My rave day's coming out then. Boots and cats, boots and cats, boots and cats. You can't perceive the scale correctly until you travel across the whole country. No. I can just by going out in our region for a whole day and not leaving it, not even touching the sides, driving down to Sochi, which is still in my region, taking 6 hours. It's massive, this place. Country is just biblically huge. People know Russia is northern and wide, but often forget it's also tall and extends south. Yes, northern Siberia is what we typically think of in the West. Always winter. Yep, toxic hazard, you nailed that shit. That's exactly it. Yeah. That's why I show the beach sometimes and talk about dolphins. Because until I came to Russia, beach, you know, you're just ignorant we are in the West. We're very ignorant. And beach? What are you on about beach? Was it like a man-made beach or something? I had no concept of it. No concept of it. But yeah, it's a big country. Very beautiful country. Walnuts. And it is walnut season. So all the walnuts are popping open and the walnuts are falling out. Let's see if I can zoom in on that one. Where is he? There, look at that. Oh, there's a walnut ready to fall to the ground. And as I've said before, they just grow on the side of the road, as you can see. Like weeds. Yeah, there you go. There's a couple more over there, look. Yeah. Just everywhere down here. Walnuts everywhere. Same with cherries, same with plums, apples. If you stick it in the ground, it grows here. You've never left Liverpool. Hey, yeah, mate. You're like a lot of Brits. I've always had itchy feet. I've always liked to get out. And I've been all over the UK. Been to Liverpool. Wigan. Used to go to Wigan quite a lot. Manchester. So I've been up in your area many a time. It's good to get out. Looks like I'm the only bear in the country. No, I'd like to think so, but no. There are a lot of bears here. Most of them wear clothes. It's sad actually, travelling opens your mind and widens your horizons. Entirely, it absolutely does. I consider myself fairly well travelled. Been across most of Europe. Haven't been to Poland, but I've been to Croatia, Italy, France, Belgium, Spain, Portugal, Holland, Switzerland. Been all over the place, me. I know it's sad, I didn't need you to tell me that. No, mate, she's just, it's how Russians just say things quite bluntly without trying to be blunt. It's just the way they are. She's not being rude with you, mate. There you go, Russians are straightforward. I wanted to say it and I said it. There you go. Exactly that. No, that's one of the things that I love about Russians. They are very sincere, very genuine and very straightforward. They don't give you a load of flannelled bullshit. They just, if you say something, they'll give you a response to it, just straight up how it is. And they're not trying to offend. And ultimately, I don't think they'd care if you're offended, because it's like, well, you're allowed to be offended. Unlike in the West, where you're not allowed to be offended. That's a crime now. If somebody offends you, get locked up. Terry, I envy you, bro. That's what you call free speech. Yes, Natalia. Mate, yeah, I'm living the dream. I know I'm sat at a bus stop at the moment on the side of the main road. May not literally necessarily look dreamy, but within 20 minutes I can be in a beautiful restaurant in a vineyard, or on the beach, walking in the crystal clear sea. It's just such a beautiful place to live. Beautiful place with beautiful people. Toxic. Poland is amazing. Krakow is my favourite city. Never met more genuine and friendly people. Okay. I've never been to Poland. I haven't really had any interaction with Polish people. Two. One was my dentist and one was my dentist's assistant. And they were very nice, very straightforward, until the SMO started. And then, I've got to say, completely vile, absolutely toxic. And didn't even know that my wife was Russian. But just, you know, I went in for a bit of dental work, and the assistant, you know, I said, oh, where are you from? She said, oh, I'm from Poland. I said, oh, I thought, she said, oh, yeah, some people think I'm from Russia. I'm absolutely not from Russia. They're evil. And she just went on a 5-minute tirade about how evil Russians are. And they're absolute monsters. And I'm like, I'm going to let you blow yourself out, darling. So I let her finish. And then I went into the dentist and he was the same. Because she went in and said, oh, he was asking about Poland. And I wasn't. But they, yeah, like I say, they'd been lovely up until then. But just unhinged. Literally unhinged. I mean, talk about a deep hatred. A deep-rooted hatred. And I said to him, the dentist, I said, have you been to Russia? No, I would never go. Okay. How do you know it's so bad? Oh, do you not see the news? It's a terrible place and the people are awful and they're horrendous and they're murderers and they eat babies and, you know, all of that kind of rhetoric bullshit. And I just thought, this is a dentist. Supposed to have a bit of intelligence at least, you'd think. So, yeah, I'm not, you know, that's my only interaction with Polish people. I've met two, and that was them. But I bow down to your knowledge because I haven't been to Poland. I'm certainly not saying all Polish people are like that. Definitely not. But that's my interaction. That's my honest and fair assessment. And do I tar them all with the same brush? No. Definitely not. Very much like a Russian doesn't. Russians don't assume if you come from a particular country you must be a certain way. They just treat you how you treat them. Anyway, there we go, guys. We're back at the petrol station where we started. Back at the petrol station with petrol, where there are no queues and the prices haven't gone up. Just to reiterate that. I hope you enjoyed our little wander around the village shops. That's not all of them, because they're a lot more spread out and there's a few more dotted around here and there, but that's a good bulk of them. And any shop owners that are watching, if I missed you out, A, I'm sorry, but I am an idiot. And B, if you do want me to feature your shop, send me a message. I'll happily come and do a video in your shop. Love to. But for the time being, for today, that's it. I'm going to enjoy the sunshine. I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Let me just give you a couple of minutes, make sure I've caught up. I don't have the money to travel. Terry, yeah. Story of everyone's life, I think. I was lucky. Will you return to Britain if a major war breaks out? It's an interesting question. I suppose I'd ask why, or what for. I don't think that's a reason to return to Britain. I don't, you know, my home, you know, is here, so why return to Britain? I appreciate the question. Yeah. I mean, the thing I would say is if a major war broke out, I'm in the safest country on earth. Fact. So, you know, from a purely selfish perspective, quite happy being here, quite safe. Freddie, do you now? Good luck with that, mate. Unimog. Yeah, Unimog, I'm sorry that's been your experience, it's not mine. You know, and that's true of everybody. I think to understand the people, you have to live with them, live amongst them, and not just a holiday or, you know, for a job where you're seeing the same people every day. You need to be like I'm doing. You need to be in the rural parts. You need to understand the people. You need to speak to them, see what they like. Otherwise, you're just going to form an opinion based on very little knowledge. I don't like doing that. I like to get a lot of knowledge, understand what I'm talking about. So I'm sorry that that's your perspective. It's not mine. It's not my reality. Just Observer is like calling Irish or British. It's the same. They also get offended. Yeah, same as Scottish, I suppose. Scots don't like to be called English or British. They're Scottish. Cheers, Chrisman. Tumu, Bald and Bankrupt. Ah, thank you, Nemiroff. But I take that as an insult because I can't stand that bloke. He's a scumbag. Anybody that goes to a country and just reports a narrative and a load of lies and just is very... No, I won't say tells a load of lies. I'll just say it's economical with the truth to get clicks of no value, low integrity, low morals. Not me, not what I'm interested in, but I get people do that, and he's one of them, so I'll take that as an insult, mate. Poland has a long and unfortunate history with Russia. Yes, it has. A bit like the Brits and the French, I suppose. The difference is France never successfully invaded and subjugated us for centuries. Hard to forget. Yeah. You're not the plastic anymore. You're the real Russian now, Rubicon. I will always be a plastic Russian. I will always be a wannabe Russian. Because I wasn't born here. You know, and although, you know, Vladimir Putin is... His response to that really is that it's your soul that is Russian. It doesn't matter where you were born. It matters on your character, your integrity. And I suppose that's true, but to a lot of Russians, I will never be a Russian, even if I was fluent in Russian, which I ain't. But even if I was, I will always be a foreigner. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I honestly believe that's how it should be. Countries should be sovereign. That's what I believe. They shouldn't be a mixed bag. They should be sovereign. They should have immigration rules that are adhered to and not flexible. They should have one language. And yeah, it should be, as is Russia's case, it should be Russians first. Spaniards should be put first in Spain. English men and women born in England should be put first in England. It's really basic stuff, and I don't see that that's controversial. It shouldn't be controversial. There we go, crazy world we live in. Just like you then. Okay, whatever, mate. And it's also a living memory for some. Russia invaded. Okay. Chris. Okay. Don't talk about integrity while you guard. Oh dear. There he is. Unimog. You've revealed yourself as another waste of space. Go educate yourself, you muppet. What about Switzerland that have 4 national languages? I don't. I mean, it's the same in Belgium, isn't it? They speak Belgian and Flemish or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Small countries and they've got different languages. There's a lot of different languages in the UK. Doesn't make any sense to me. Anyhow. Drivery. Totally agree. Thank you, mate. Guys, thank you. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful day, southern Russia. As I've wandered around my village for a bit. Hope you found it useful. If you haven't, and you've got some questions, join my Telegram group. Got a good bunch of people in there. We can probably answer your question for you. Check out my YouTube channel for, yeah, all sorts of videos. It's all random stuff from me. That's why the algorithm doesn't like me. It's all very random. But we'll probably give you a taste of Russia outside of Moscow, because there's more to Russia than Moscow and St. Petersburg. Here in the south, it's blue skies, vineyards, beaches, and good living. So thanks for joining me. Please like, share and subscribe. Please hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Double tap the screen. Does help. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.